Today we're doing lesson 11.11, problem solving and equal shares. The essential question is, how can drawing a diagram help when solving problems about equal shares? Here's our problem. There are two sandwiches that are the same size. Each sandwich is divided into fourths, but the sandwiches are cut differently. How might the two sandwiches be cut? We're going to unlock the problem. That means we need to understand. What do I need to find? How the sandwiches could be cut. And what information do I need to use? There are blank sandwiches. It tells us up here that there are two sandwiches. And each sandwich is divided into, and up here they tell us each sandwich is divided into fourths. You can always go back to your word problem to find the information that you need to know. So show how to solve the problem. We have two sandwiches here, two squares. So how could we divide each of them into fourths, but in two different ways? Well, I'm going to go right down through the middle, and then I'm going to go across the middle this way. So there's one way to make fourths. And then I'm going to go in the middle again. I'm going to divide that again. And this one again to make fourths. Turn your paper over. Marquis has two square sheets of paper that are the same size. He wants to cut each sheet into halves. What are two different ways he can cut the sheets of paper? We've got a little bubble over here, some things they want us to think about. What do I need to find, and what information do I need to use? Well, I need to use the fact that they're telling us that each sheet is divided into halves. And they want two different ways. So they can't be the same. So I know that I can divide it into halves this way. And I know that I could go from corner to corner and divide it into halves this way. Shanice has two pieces of cloth that are the same size. She needs to divide each piece into thirds. What are two different ways she can divide the pieces of cloth? So again, what do I need to find? I need to have two different ways it can be divided. And I need to divide each piece into thirds. So here's her cloth. Thirds are a little trickier, but just do your best. I'm going to go across this way. This way, and then I'm going to go here and here. And if you get done and it doesn't quite look like they're equal, you can erase it and do it again. It's okay. So go to your next page. It says share and show. Draw to show your answer. I'm going to explain these to you, and you're going to do these on your own. Number 3, Brandon has two pieces of toast that are the same size. What are two different ways he can divide the pieces of toast into halves? So two different ways to divide into halves. Number 4, Mr. Rivera has two small trays of pasta that are the same size. What are two different ways that he can cut the pasta into fourths? He's going to cut it into fourths. Two different ways. And number 5, Erin has two ribbons that are the same size. What are two different ways that she can divide the ribbons into thirds? You're dividing these into thirds. And then turn your paper over. Number 6, David needs to divide two pieces of paper into the same number of equal parts. Look at how the first piece of paper is divided. Show how to divide the second piece of paper a different way. Now, we need to look at this shape and see how many parts he divided it into. And you need to divide this piece into that same number of parts, but in a different way. Number 7, Mrs. Lee has 2 sandwiches that are the same size. She cuts each sandwich into halves. How many equal parts does she have in all? I would draw the 2 sandwiches here and then cut them each into halves and count how many parts you have in all and put that answer here. And number 8, Emma wants to cut a piece of paper into fourths. Fill in the bubble next to all the ways that she could cut the paper into fourths. There's more than one way here, so you will fill in more than one bubble. And when you have completed this, your assignment is done.